Well, I'm out here this evening at the Rainbow's Bend. It's a area that's just past Sealand. It's out on Covered Bridge Road, and they have access to the Wabash River here. A lot of people go fishing down in here. There's just a lot of activities. There's canoeing and boating, of course, on the Wabash River. But I wanted to talk to you today about the Wabash River and about the activities in this area that have happened around the river. First of all, the beginning of the Wabash River, which is Indiana State River, is in Ohio. And it's over by Fort Recovery in Drake County. It's right along their border. And it comes north from there, goes through Mercer County, and it comes up into Indiana over by New Cordon, which is just down the road from here a ways. And there's about 28 to 30 miles that's in the Mercer County and Drake County, and along from Drake County. There's just about 30 miles that are in Ohio, but the entire river is 503 miles long. So that is just a small part. The river, for the most part, in this area and all the way over to about Huntington, it only is 5 to 6 feet deep. It has a limestone bottom. The Indians used to call it the white-bottomed river because before we started having a lot of runoff and such in this river and a lot of pollutants in this river, it did have the white bottom that you could see. The water was that clear. It drains 2/3 of the state of Indiana. And the Wabash has a free-flowing area from Huntington. Huntington has a dam, and from there all the way to the Ohio River, it is free-flowing, and that's 411 miles. That is a mighty river. And here in Adams County, it's about 30 to 60 foot across. This, where I'm at right now, is just about the normal for it here in Adams County. There's a boat ramp here. And like I said, this is just outside of Sealand. A lot of my friends and family go fishing in here. There's a lot of places to fish in here. There's private land that butts up next to it, of course. And then there's, like, this is community land here. Behind me is where the river bend is, and the Rainbow, and what they have set that up for is such a wonderful thing for this community. It's where the overflow goes when the river floods, because when the water comes, it comes fast and hard. And when it comes through here, instead of taking out homes and farmland and stuff, it will cover that area behind me and flood that area. What that does is saves all the land that people are utilizing for homes and for farming. Then the water goes down and the land is used again for trails and for sightseeing. And it's been a win-win. All along the Wabash River, different counties have done things like this to help control the flooding, because with all the runoff from all of the land that it clears, there is just too much water sometimes, too fast, and it backs up. And just like any river, it does flood. We have not had a substantial flood in a number of years, and a lot of that is because of flood management, such as that. Now, after running west to Huntington, it starts to turn a little bit. And it goes, actually right here, this part of the river is actually going west and north. It's kind of a northwest angle. And then after it gets past Huntington, the river has widened in Huntington area. And it has widened in Wells County to 60 to 100 feet wide. But it's only 2 to 6 feet deep. But don't let that fool you. There are spots in this river that go down as much as 30 feet. So you do have drop-offs. And it's not a river that they ever suggest you swim in because of the pollutants that's in the river. And there is a current that comes with this river, and it pulls you along. You can see it in the water as I'm videotaping this. There is a current. The water does not sit still. There's a lot of fishing in this water, but there is no swimming. They do not, I don't know if it's illegal or they just do not suggest it, but just do not swim in this water. It's just not the kind of water you want to swim in. Plus it's dark, it's mucky, it's just not a nice water. You find a lot of places, like, because the depth is not real deep, when these trees come through the winter and through the spring with the storms and stuff, you'll see a lot of trees that get jammed up in the area. And that is something that you got to canoe around. And of course, if you were swimming, you don't want to get stuck on any of them and have trouble around that. But the widest area of this river is in where it meets the Ohio River. The mouth of this river is 1,200 feet wide, and that's where it flows into the mighty Ohio, the larger river. It just kind of takes over the stream there. The two waters are very similar because the Ohio is also a brown, but sometimes the Ohio has kind of a green hint to it. So if you're standing up and you're able to see it, you might be able to see where the two waters collide. And I just wondered if that would be interesting to some people. I would like to see that. I know you can see where the Ohio goes into the Mississippi, and they are both dirty waters as well, but one is much dirtier, darker. But the river does get wider. Like I said, in Huntington, the river widens to 200 feet. But it still only runs between 2 and 6 feet deep. Then they have the drop-offs, where it can be up to 30 feet at the drop-offs. And of course, at the dam, there are washouts on the dam where you've got to be careful not to get in that current and not to get in the water, because it could be very dangerous. The river does have a lot of fish. It's good for fishing bluegill, channel, blue, and flathead catfish, walleye, carp, long-nosed and short-nosed gar, even though the gar is mostly on the lower side, behind the dam. And for the trophy fishes, there are many fish over 30 pounds in the lower Wabash. Again, behind the dam, it's a great location for fishing. This area here, you will not have that many of the gar and stuff, but you do get a lot of catfish in this area. And the DNR they keep a track of who's got the biggest fish and stuff from the areas. Well, in 2008, the goldeneye was caught in Vermilion County. The short-nosed gar was caught in the Tippecanoe County. In 1999, the shovel-nosed gar was caught in Fountain County. All three of those counties are on the west side. And and they're all after the dam. So it just seems like they have the larger fish over there to fish. That's the area where the lake or the river goes over and becomes the border between Illinois and Indiana. And if you look at a map, it's all jaggedy and back and forth and twisted and stuff. When you get down to the bottom, it looks like a little half a boot, the toe sticking out or something. That is because the border of Indiana and Illinois goes with the flow of the river. You can actually get on a canoe or a kayak, get on here, New Cordon, you can just get on. You can actually go all the way down this river to the Ohio River. You have to go around the dam, and there's a few other natural dams you got to go around, but that's very simple to go around and get on the other side. The theory is you can go all the way to Ohio River, and you can. Or all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, and you can. Once you get to the Ohio River, you're going to have to deal with a lot different type of river current. You're going to have to deal with a lot more traffic, and that area is just going to be You're going to have permits and stuff like that. So it's not something you could just say, oh, I got a week off, I want to do that. You need to plan for that if you are up to something like that. Raymond Warwick in 1939 from Terre Haute, he found 3 alligators in the river. I do not know how true the story is, but I've seen it a couple times on the different sites that I have been on, and I've seen the pictures. But then I wanted to talk too about the battles. Revolutionary War. November, let's talk about the Revolutionary War first. And that was the battle that was at Vincennes. And it was February 25th to 23rd to the 25th, 1779. George Rogers Clark was in charge of the men. He only had 127 men. His men and him had traveled 180 miles to get there. Well, the British, they were at the fort, and it was called Fort Shackville, and they had 300. So Rogers Clark got his men to sound big, make noise, act big, and they did. During the battle, we lost 4 American casualties, 16 Brits, and the British surrendered. That was one of the biggest battles and the biggest, one of the upsets of the war, because it cut off the trail of being able to bring the British soldiers down the Ohio River and bring them in the back way for the Revolutionary War. The second battle was just a couple years after the USA became the USA. November 4th, 1791. It was the battle at Fort Recovery. It was a battle that started from Cincinnati. They started from Cincinnati. As they come up from Cincinnati, they had a lot of men that were only 6 months in the military. They did not have a lot of training, and they had 1,400 men. They lost 918, 276 were wounded. That was about half of the U.S. military at that time. And that was when, a year later, General Mad Anthony Wayne took over that area, took the Fort Recovery area back, and moved and kept on marching straight through to the Fort Wayne area and further. And that was part of the Indian Wars, but we don't hear a lot about the Indian Wars in this area because a lot of our wars in this area were not large. That one there was a major war, and we don't even hear about that often, but they were not large as far as some of the wars out west. And so that, that's a shame. But I just wanted to spend some time with you guys today and talk about the Wabash River and exactly what it is, and get out and enjoy it. There's so many places where you can enjoy the Wabash River here in Indiana, and just get out and enjoy it. Spend some time outside. And if you stay here quiet enough, you can see deer and all kinds of stuff. And I just love doing that. Well, hey, if you like what you've seen, subscribe. If you like what you heard, say thank you. And say you liked it. That would mean a lot to me. And thank you for listening to me this afternoon.